Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with part 2, technically round 14 of our F1 2006 Championship Edition career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Istanbul Park for the Turkish Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Hungary, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It's safe to say we had a decent first ever race back inside this game. In fact, it was so good that Super Aguri decided to promote me to the #1 driver. I have no idea how that works, but I'm not going to complain about it, and hopefully that'll mean our seat is even safer as we head into Season 2. Of course, these final 6 races of the first season are more about us finding our footing once again inside this game, so I'm hoping that we can, try and have some good results, and, like I said, first and foremost, the goal is to keep our seat for Season 2, and then maybe after that, we'll wait and see if any other opportunities come our way to try and move around the grid and things like that. Taking a look at the Drivers' Championship, Michael Schumacher leads the way 2 points clear of Fernando Alonso, with Giancarlo Fisichella and Felipe Massa both 8 points back. So it is all still to play for between our top 4 in the Drivers' Championship. Our P18 result in the first round still leaves us down in 23rd overall, based on countback, so I'm hoping if we can try and get another decent result today, maybe we can elevate ourselves up the order. Get yourselves subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 6k subs on the channel before the end of the year. A massive thank you to everybody for the support on the first episode, and welcome to all of you from the main channel that of course are interested in this series as well. But yeah, let's head out then here to Istanbul Park. Well, here we are then back at the Turkish Grand Prix circuit, and if you guys are kind of newer Formula 1 fans, maybe didn't watch the 2020 season, of course, where this circuit came back to Formula 1, you've been missing out. This place absolutely needs to come back to Formula 1 in the not too distant future. We get 2 street races in America, but no Istanbul or Sepang in modern day F1. It's just such a shame. This circuit, pretty much every corner around here is pretty memorable, even when I'm going for spins early on as we try and build up some temperature in the tyres as well. But yeah, this weekend, obviously, Hungary is a very, very easy track on this game. There's not many auto spin curbs or anything like that. Istanbul is a lot more brutal, so we are going to have to be very, very careful here. But yeah, I mean, this is the section everybody remembers from this place. 4 left-hand corners all strung together, that when you get the line nailed and in a better car than ours, is pretty much entirely flat out. I think if we nail it, we can do that in this Super Aguri, but certainly not early on in free practice. But one of the things I don't think I was doing enough when I last played this game was enough practice laps, obviously with the heavier fuel in the car. It really does make a difference on this title to kind of how the car behaves and everything like that. It does affect, in quite a dramatic way, your braking distances and things like that as well. So I'm really trying to make sure I do more and more practice now to make sure we're up to speed. But ultimately, it's not a particularly interesting part of the weekend for you guys. So I think we'll probably head straight over to qualifying.
What a prospect we have here today. The wonderful Istanbul Park, with its incredible Turn 8, plays host to today's qualifying session.
I have no idea how to get out the pit lane here without getting a time penalty, so just going to take it really, really nice and easy. It doesn't actually make any difference in qualifying, but will be more and more useful as we head into the GP. Just to remember what we've got to try and do. Now, obviously, Hungary, we failed to see Q2. I'm not expecting today to be any different, to be honest, but if we can go quicker than Takuma Sato, that would be quite good there. Of course, we were comfortably quicker than him in the race last time out. We missed out beating him by like 0.03 of a second, so I want to have a bit of a cleaner qualifying run. Just make sure we dial in all of our laps. I mean, it's these first few corners that are so sketchy around here, just trying to throw the car over the front, and it kind of feels like, yeah, the front end kind of lifts up almost, and it's really, really difficult to be very precise with it. Again, though, as I mentioned, Hungary wasn't bad for it. Istanbul is. It's the auto spin curbs here. A lot of the curbs are very, very tall around this venue, so trying to avoid them and stay out of trouble is not easy. Of course, this back straight was where Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber had their first major coming together in 2010, and obviously that pretty much ruined their relationship as teammates, of course, that would lead to the infamous multi-21 Seb a few years later.
He won't be very happy with that at all. The car was all over the place.
Yeah, those final couple of corners I really struggle with to get the line right. Villeneuve, we are 2 seconds slower after my first lap. Oh, it's just whenever you get those little moments, just every single time it feels like you can save it, so you just try and nudge the brake, and that just brings the back end all the way around. Luckily we got enough fuel in the car just to go for one more lap then. Unfortunately for me, we got one of the Toro Rossos and the Renault of Alonso kind of tripping over each other. Hopefully they'll both stay out of the way. There's fast lap times coming in from everybody at the moment, a little bit wide through turn 1, but we will just about hang on. Well, of course, Takuma Sato is our main reference point on these laps, and unfortunately we're down again in Sector 1. Feel like we've pretty much figured out turn 8, though. I'm sure by saying that I'm going to bottle it this time round, but yeah, the first part completely flat. The second part, slight blend. That leads you into the third part there. Utilise that exit curb. And then the final part, again, completely flat out. Annoyingly, we're giving a Toro Rosso a nice slipstream.
The car was all over the place.
That curb on the exit as well, you've got to be so careful of. Again, you just see tripping over slightly on the exit of the corner. And we are down in Sector 2. I think this lap is a complete write-off. Well, I didn't realise it, but of course there's no actual driver moves inside this game. So when we got promoted up to #1 driver, Takuma Sato, we've taken his seat. So he's actually out now. Yuji Ide is back in the second Super Aguri car. So yeah, Takuma's gone. I only realised that when I had a look inside the lap times provisionally in qualifying here. So, well, Yuji Ide, for those of you that don't know, was the last Formula 1 driver to get his super licence revoked mid-season. He was that bad. So if we end up behind him here, we've got a lot more questions raised. That's exactly what we need to see. Up in the green then on our first lap once more of this second stint. We need, ideally, I want to find about another second or so. Again, I think we're just too far away to even consider making it into Q2 even. Jacques Villeneuve about 1.8 seconds faster, but if we could get within a second of him, I would be happy. I'm trying just to be nice and tidy through these final couple of corners, hoping that this is going to be another improvement that we can try and chase down inside our final couple of runs. There we go, 32.3. So we do improve by a few tenths there. We're moving to 19th.
He's done enough on this occasion.
I don't know what time Yuji Ide's done, but I think we're still faster. Oh, damn it!
Finishes his flying lap. He should be satisfied with that.
I was not expecting the damage model to do that right at the end, but I guess we've ripped a wheel off the car right at the end of qualifying there. Not what I wanted. And annoyingly, Ide will go faster in the end as well, so all of your back markers very bunched up, but annoyingly, we will line up once again in P21.
You join the commentary team at Istanbul for this year's Turkish Grand Prix. Istanbul Park is situated in the Asian hills on the outskirts of the capital. Though fairly new to the Formula 1 calendar, with the first Grand Prix stage here in 2005, the circuit has already achieved some notoriety. Spa has its Eau Rouge. Istanbul has turn 8, considered by some to be the toughest turn in Formula 1. It's one of those corners where you really need to commit yourself, but overcommit and it's likely you'll come a cropper. It's a clear day here at the moment, good visibility for the drivers. Michael Schumacher will start from pole. Second on the grid is Felipe Massa. They're followed by Fernando Alonso in third. Fourth is Kimi Raikkonen. Row 3 and 5th place for Giancarlo Fisichella. 6th is Rubens Barrichello. 7th place for Juan Pablo Montoya. Jarno Trulli occupies 8th on the grid.
Well, if you ever wanted to know the best way to get temperature into your tyres, just go like this. Mash both. Just everything. Look at that. Front tyres already up to scrub, so that's good. Only problem is you do create quite a gap to the cars in front. E-Day already coming to the end of Sector 1. I'm still at Turn 2. Well, Ferrari then with a 1-2 here on the grid. I mean, what do you do? Both Ferrari and Renault in the same situation. Do you prioritise one of your drivers? Do you just let them both go at it to the end of the year? I mean, there are reliability problems inside this game, so it could be that someone has a mechanical failure that takes them out of contention before the season is done and dusted. But for us, once again, the goal is just to survive, beat our teammate, and maybe try and get past another couple of cars.
Looks good. Everything's ready to go. Good luck with the first part of the race. See you at the first pit stop.
Yeah, we had a decent race last weekend, a decent start as well. Let's do the same today.
Montoya gets off the grid well, as does Kimi Räikkönen. Here come the drivers into turn 1. Michael Schumacher leads out of turn 1. Behind him is Massa. Next is Räikkönen.
Well, Schumacher then getting off to a clean, tidy start ahead of his teammate Felipe Massa. And just like in Hungary then, we are going to try and make some moves on lap 1.
You should have optimum grip levels now.
Just don't want him to run into the back of anybody on this opening lap there. As you can see, oh, Scott Spees. Oh, that was close. We almost lost a wheel there.
No, you've lost your position. Don't panic. Just focus and you'll start moving up again.
Oh, I forgot to turn back on the traction control. That's the problem.
7. It's Button! Retirement was the last thing he needed, but unfortunately, that's the case. Ralf Schumacher was the other driver involved in that altercation. Looks like his front wing has taken some damage.
Well, we're going to move past Jenson Button then in the Honda car there, so he will not be happy with that collision with Ralf Schumacher on lap 1. But it's those little things you have to remember on this game. Enabling the traction control again, everything like that. This game does not hold your hand. If you don't do something right, it will absolutely punish you for it. What's the gap to E-Day up the road then by the time we get to the end of Sector 2? It is about 6 seconds. Well, absolute disaster then for both Toyotas, who both had to pit at the end of lap 1 for a new front wing. So Trulli and Ralf Schumacher then, I think both were involved in that incident. So yeah, we're no longer in last place, which I guess is nice. And ahead of, well, 3 cars from other red and white teams. There were a lot of them back in 2006. Oh no, oil down. Where will that be? Around the circuit? Again, you just got to try and move off the racing line. There you go. So that is, who's that? That's one of the Toro Rossos, the Antonio Luizzi out of the GP. Well, there we go then. We saw quite a lot of reliability issues last weekend. As I think already then, the other Toyota of Jarno Trulli out of the Grand Prix. So we've already got 3 retirements. We're barely at the end of lap 2. We might be getting another one. So there's more oil down.
Michael Schumacher leads. Massa is 2nd. Räikkönen is 3rd. 4th is Alonso. Barrichello 5th. Fisichella 6th. Montoya is 7th. And Webber is in 8th place.
I don't know where that oil was, but we have got round it. We're up to P18 then, so yeah, really are making up some spots early on. There's Schumacher, Button and Luizzi all out of this GP. Well, looking at the gaps then, I think if we start tidying up our lap times here, we are quicker than the AI. Or at least, obviously, you know, the other backmarker cars. It's just those little mistakes over the curbs that are really, really costing us early on. Of course, I'd rather finish behind them and finish than try and get ahead and risk binning it. But yeah, it is such a difficult balance. But it is going to take us most of the GP. Well, looking at the gap times then to those cars in front, Sector 1 is definitely our best sector on the lap. We can go close to a second faster than UG E-Day and those 2 Midlands. Around the rest of the lap, though, we really don't take much time out of them whatsoever. So that's going to have to be where we try and push to find the time as the weekend goes on. I'm also very conscious that Trulli is closing in behind me. So if we let him by at a good spot, maybe, just maybe, he could drag me along with him for a couple of laps. Oh, no more oil. Haven't seen anybody else drop out of the Grand Prix. Oh, there we go. It is one of the Midlands. So we've got to just try and stay off the line. There you go. As soon as you spot the oil, it's not too bad to try to avoid. But Thiago Monteiro then out of the Grand Prix. I mean, we could get like a top 15 here if we can get back to our teammate and our other big rival. Oh, we've lost one of the Renaults as well then, so I hadn't even spotted that one. But this race has really turned into a GP of attrition early on, so don't know whether that was Fisichella or Alonso. I'm sure you guys will know if we listen to the grid rundown. But yeah, that is huge for one of those Renault cars, as we're only now at 1/3 distance, and already it feels like a lot's happened.
Place. We're not going to get anything if you don't consider pushing forward.
So I think our teammate, yeah, Ide has pit already. He's going to have a lot of tyre wear towards the end of the afternoon. What is that? Y'all know truly absolutely no chill there going through 8, 9, 10 and 11. Absolutely just barged his way by when I was not expecting it. So, well, luckily it didn't cost us too much time. But I was hoping we could get a slipstream down this straight. The only sad thing is in this game is you don't get any safety cars or red flags or anything. So there's no kind of real chance for a huge upset in a Grand Prix and things like that, or to nail a strategy with a safety car. So it is just 18 laps as such for a Grand Prix like this. I believe that we are going to be diving into the pit lane at the end of this lap, so nearly inside the top 10. But I've got to try and remember exactly how the pit lane goes here. I think it is just a normal 90-degree left-hander on the way in. There we go.
The last few laps, and the clouds that were threatening rain have cleared. It looks like the sun will be out until the end of this Grand Prix.
Well, I didn't know we were meant to be getting rain. There's no kind of weather report or anything as well inside this title. Yeah, I think that is... I keep forgetting to listen to James Allen, who keeps doing the grid rundown, but I think it's Fisichella... No, I want to say it's Alonso, actually, that's out of the Grand Prix. So as we make our way then in for our box, let's try and nail this stop. There we go, 9.1. That was better than I did in Hungary. So we are slowly improving. Now to try to avoid getting a penalty on pit exit. Nice and easy. That was pretty good. And I think we're still taking a little bit more time out of our teammate over those couple of laps. But it is going to be a tall order to get to him by the end. Oh no, we've got a McLaren and a Renault coming in right behind us here. If they don't dive into the pit lane, then I will have to let them by. Otherwise, blue flags will come out. There they are. So I'm hoping that both these guys are going to be into the pit lane at the end of this lap. And I think they are. So won't have to try and withstand the pressure from them for too long. 8 laps to go then at this GP. The gap to Ide, 8 seconds. So we need a second a lap by the end. And lines like that at turn 1 will not help.
We're at 2/3 race distance. Michael Schumacher leads. He's up from 3rd. Massa is 2nd. Raikkonen is 3rd. 4th is Alonso. He slid down from 2nd. Barrichello 5th. Montoya 6th. Trulli 7th. And Christian Klien is in 8th.
So it is, yeah, Fisichella that is the Renault out of this GP, and that'll be critical for his championship hopes come the end of the season. Annoyingly, I just do not seem to have the pace to close in on Ide right now. Even when I feel like I'm nailing it, we've just got to wait for his tyres to hit the cliff towards the end, because he will struggle. Looks like David Coulthard then, another casualty in this afternoon's running. So we're going to claim another free spot then, and it seems like Albers, Ide and myself all just slowly closing in on each other. But I'm just not convinced there's going to be enough laps, especially with Schumacher breathing down our neck. Well, championship leader then, Michael Schumacher, has closed right up to me. I think now he's going to have a look for it down the inside. The end of the straight here. No, he actually backs out. So that's a rather big surprise. Oh, come on. Get out of his way. Thank you. We got more yellows out, though. There's someone else now. Christian Klien's gone from this Grand Prix. So we've had 7 retirements so far here. As I'm hoping Massa just goes past us. I don't know why he's not. Come on, Felipe. There you go. Don't want to try and upset the Ferrari Mafia. And I'm going to spin anyway. Just did not want to crash into him, though. That was the big thing there. But annoyingly, yeah, losing even more time.
This is the final lap for race leader Michael Schumacher. It's been a very dominant performance all round from Ferrari. Everyone involved with the team must be ecstatic that they're running 1 and 2.
Well, Michael Schumacher then on the last lap of this Grand Prix, as we are still setting new personal bests towards the end of this race. But yeah, I mean, just too many mistakes right the way throughout. I'm hoping Ide will go 1 lap down as well, though, so at least it looks slightly better on paper that he didn't do an extra lap than us today. Like I said, I think if we nailed it, yeah, we would have been comfortably quicker than him. I think we could have actually still been ahead of Albers even after the lap 1 mistake, but just more and more mistakes have crept in as the race has gone on. But yeah, you know, myself and the team know these final 6 races of this season are more about learning and preparing ourselves ready for next year's campaign. Hopefully, we're not going to get lapped by anybody else on this final tour, but Istanbul Park, this place is so cool and so much fun as well. But Michael Schumacher, things are just getting better and better for him at the top of the table there. Massa just tucked him right behind, trying to keep his championship hopes alive towards the end of the year. Looks like Ide will let the German through as he makes his way in through the final corner. Michael Schumacher will take the win here at Istanbul Park. What a way to finish the weekend.
Michael Schumacher powers across the line to take top spot on the podium. Massa will hang on to finish in second.
As we drift our way through the final couple of corners, P15 on paper sounds very good, but last of your cars still running at the flag.
So there we have it, an amazing Turkish Grand Prix, and what a circuit. This is proving to be as unpredictable as ever. I can tell you, I was standing down at turn 8 during Friday practice, watching the cars make those 4 consecutive high-speed turns, and I promise you it was a sight to behold. I can recommend it to anyone who visits here. Just brilliant. In 2 weeks' time, we travel to northern Italy, to Monza, where you can bet your house there will be a huge presence of fans for Ferrari. We've had a wonderful time here in Istanbul, and we hope you have too. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon for the Italian Grand Prix.
Both Red Bulls, Giancarlo Fisichella, Thiago Montero, Luizzi, Ralf Schumacher, and Jenson Button all failing to see the checkered flag, but that means now Schumacher suddenly has a 7-point lead at the top of the table over Fernando Alonso there. I think Fisichella's championship hopes are very quickly evaporating, but at least one Renault and one Ferrari will hopefully head to our finale still in that battle for the World Championship there. There is a little bit of kind of movement with the countback results as well, so we do now go ahead of Takuma Sato. But yeah, we'll need a good result if we want to try and beat out Yuji Ide by the end of the year there. Ferrari, 15 points clear now of Renault in the Constructors' Championship as well, and as they head to their home Grand Prix, they will be looking for a big result. Red Bull, Toro Rosso, Midland and Super Aguri still yet to score points. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very soon ready for the Italian Grand Prix.